And good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of the Cloister of the Dice. Everyone get ready to board your mech suits and get ready for combat because it's back into the world of Robotech. Here we are tonight, of course. I'm your MC behind the scenes. I'm John. Of course, we're joined by our DM, Mildred the Monk, and our fellow players, Lady K, Nephador Frolin, Xanadrix, Zanare. Folks, how are we doing today?
We're doing good.
It goes.
The pact has been sealed.
I'm ready.
I am. Sometimes I wish that heat waves in my state would happen when I'm actually working, instead of when I'm not. Oh, but
As a Floridian, all I have to say is I don't want to hear shit.
yeah. Keep that energy in a few months. I know how things get as soon as the weather hits 50. We'll be walking around in a hoodie when it's 50 degrees out, and I'm sitting here laughing.
You know, that's an attack on me and I don't like it.
I know how it is.
You already know our motto. We believe these truths to be self-evident that all people are cremated equal.
Mm-hmm. And look, I had my little incident where I had I was in a snowstorm in the middle of Georgia and watching everybody panic like it's the end of the universe. So, and it wasn't even that bad. It was just a couple inches.
That's what she said.
Pretty sure that's what Rhea said about Dom. Yeah, I'm going there. If you're gonna stab somebody in the back, make sure to penetrate all the way in.
I get the feeling he couldn't get that far.
She's probably asking if it was in there.
Yeah. But last time we left off, you guys had escaped the wreckage of Neo Tokyo after a particularly nasty attack by the Robotech Masters. And in the process of your escape, you guys ended out in far eastern Russia, in Vladivostok.
That's the Danya.
Yeah.
That's goodbye, dude.
And which gave you the opportunity to recuperate, rest, and unfortunately, one of you having to play babysitter for the diva, who has revealed
wasn't me because he's scared of me.
Has revealed himself to be a bit of a brat, but also finds a good chunk of you scary.
Doesn't help that I wear a mask that's shaped like a fucking lion.
Demon lion.
But the other thing,
Go ahead.
the other thing, of course, was a bit of tension when it came to your first meeting with the captain of the ship you guys are now occupying, the Spirit of Carthage. But it seems to have simmered down, though. You are still going to be working with Agent Vici. What were you going to say, Kay?
There was something I wanted to do because after a little bit of thought and quite frankly after what we had talked about while leveling up, I need to double check that file that I pulled off the old computer.
Which?
The one about my brother.
It's more or less the same as what I said before. When you checked it, I'd say about 90% of it was essentially redacted, but redacted manually.
I want to look at the timestamps on the redactions.
that unfortunately has been removed.
Okay. Can I hack in far enough to see who removed them?
Since you're looking at a copy, unfortunately, that would be a dead end because the only place that would have the timestamps is now blown to pieces.
Ah, fuck. Alright. I tried.
Mm-hmm. And it's a miracle you even got what you got out of it. Well, without getting busted because you're taking information out of a heavily classified computer core.
Yeah.
But in the aftermath of that, as you all end up heading to sleep, as as you guys shortly had arrived, you do have some time to get things situated as the spirit of Carthage resupplies here. Um, in the process of that, one of the things that ends up happening the is the diva approaches David and asks, "Boss, what's family?"
Oh dear. Odd. So I guess family is not a thing that you guys have up in your world, huh?
He shakes his head.
Well, in the most basic of terms, a family is a group of people who are usually bonded through some form or another. Usually it's by blood. If have a sibling or parents, that's your family. But family can mean something else. If you work with a group of people long enough, they become friends and work closely together and forge them through hardships and stuff, you can kind of see yourself as a second family.
I can understand that.
Family's an important thing to me, honestly. I look at those I work with, and I need to be able to trust them to have my back and be there for me when I need them. That's the kind of that to me is a form of family.
I see. I don't quite get it, but I'll figure it out.
It's not something that can be easily explained, honestly. It's something you'll understand once you see us working together more often.
Shia comes in for a second. When you have someone that's family to you, generally, you would feel very bad if they were missing from your life permanently. Obviously, in cases where you know they've gone on some sort of trip, maybe you'll feel a longing to see them after some time. And you generally want their well being to be in high spirits. You can only speak in generalities, though, because the definition of family changes by person, at least amongst humans, because it's a very personal and subjective experience.
David nods his head, basically agreeing with him.
Turns suddenly, Shia turns to look over at Dirge and Kair and be like, "I don't know about these two yet, though. Maybe."
Actually, out of character, you do kind of know, considering when the commander was mentioning my father.
Well, no, I don't know about you being family to us.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
We'll see. These Dave already is like a good uncle, though. Shia being taller than Dave puts a hand on Dave's shoulder.
Surprisingly, David is like just totally cool with that. He's like, yeah. Well, hey, you know what? I'll take that.
I mean, I'd rather have an uncle I can learn from than the uncle that. Never mind. I'm not going to get into the family. Although Although he never did stop hitting that bottle.
Oh, one of those types, huh? I feel for you.
He was a veteran too, but some veterans get stronger, and then there's a pointed look from Shia at Dave at that point. Some veterans, they got to leave the battlefield. It's all about how strong a person can be before they break.
I won't lie, I've come close, man. But for you, Diva, that's a starting point. What you discover her family to be is up to you.
He just nods. But as things get situated, and you guys have a brief bit of time in the mess hall, you're asked to report to the armory to get refitted. Part of this involves getting your armor replaced after the damage that it had before, and that also means going through the process of putting armor back on, which fortunately isn't too difficult. And in fact, some of the suiting up procedure is somewhat automated. Like, it's not far moved from Iron Man, but then again, this is powered armor. Just as a bit of for the rest of you, I refer to the image I put in Synchronicity as a bit of a reference.
Oh, hold up. Ah, damn it! Come on. Gotcha.
I mean, Shia is obviously going to be very familiar with doing this. I mean, I also imagine Dave is. So it's going to be just kind of like rote for the both of them.
But
I'm just nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, but in the process, you guys are brought in into the weapons end of the armory to get yourself refitted, because the current arms that you had are serviceable for the kind of mission you were doing at the time, but you're going to be going into more active zones, and something like a pistol is not going to cut it anymore. And because of that, you get brought to the armory, and through this, even with the base in not the best shape, there's still plenty of firearms of different types lining the walls and everywhere else. So out of character, this is as good a spot as any to requisition any new weapons or kits to replace the ones that you already have.
Okay. So, take a look here.
Bless you.
Yeah.
The only thing that's off the table is machine guns, if only because of the fact that those are mounted machine guns. You're not going to be carrying that into combat.
Even I'm not that tough.
I mean, the only machine gun we see here is the Brasilia Monk, and that is a 20mm cannon. That's not just a light machine gun. That's a full on fucking M2. That's a Modus. Actually, it's bigger than a Modus, I should say. Because 50 cal is only 12.7mm.
Yeah. But I'll start with you, David. Are there any kits or gear that you're thinking of swapping out?
Well, since if we're not keeping the pistols, I assume they want us to bump us up to something like maybe the laser weapon, perhaps.
That's one possibility. They'd want to bump you up to something rifle sized.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and bump myself up to a LAR-10.
Yeah, the LAR-10 multi-variant laser rifle, a post-war a post design of the first Robotech war that would become standardized very quickly. Um, so I will swap that out with the you're dropping the M33 and you're going with the LAR-10.
Yeah. What we'll do is we'll make it part of my character that the Tyra is something I keep. Like as soon as I hear her swapping them out, I bring the Tyra back because that's like an old trusty for me.
Mhm.
Like nah, I don't get rid of that. I'll put it aside, but I won't get rid of it.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. And since that is a laser weapon, it actually has it actually has 1 point of penetration. Um, are you going to be putting any of the available modules onto it? That being carbine, sniper, or shotgun?
Um, one sec.
The
Let's
module
see.
list is under modular energy
Yeah,
weapon
I see
systems.
it. I don't know for sure. Hold on. Because I don't think we're gonna. I don't. You know what? Let's go ahead and put the shotgun. I know sniper. I like to. I'm gonna be more careful and calculated. So I think a sniper module would be a good idea.
All right. With the sniper module, if you're firing at short range, that is hindrance. If you're firing at but otherwise no changes aside from the fact that it adds 1 more penetration. So I'm guessing this is the reason why you're thinking of the sniper module.
Yeah.
Uh,
As everything else, both the carbine and the shotgun turn into a short range, and I get the sense we're gonna be looking for more long range combat out of this.
mhm. Yep. Um, anything besides that?
Um, I don't know what else I could add. I don't know what we're going to be needing going into this mission. I've got my communication kit.
All right, fair
That's
enough.
what I wanted to do. Son of a bitch.
Uh, Dirge, what about you? And anything you're going to be switching? You're going to be switching out?
Nah, actually, I'm pretty happy with what I got in terms of weaponry. He's kind of comfortable with his pistol as much as they want to try and take it from him.
Oh.
It is a laser pistol anyway, so.
It is, though it's not going to have as much. It's not going to have enough punch to penetrate armor.
Yeah, he's just not comfortable with anything too big. He's kind of likes the small arms.
Right. Although technically speaking, a rifle is small arms according to the army.
Yes, but the army is a little strange, and he doesn't quite agree with them on many things.
Then again,
small arms is anything that isn't
and
mounted.
yet the chain gun on a Bradley is small arms.
That's because you can pull it off. It doesn't have to be mounted.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the pintle mounted 50 BMG is not considered small arms.
Mm-hmm. It's weird and makes no damn
Makes
sense.
perfect sense to someone who knows the military well enough.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. But Chia is he going to be
Yes.
adjusting his equipment?
Yes. Shia is going to keep his jump pack on his Gusoku, and he's going to keep his communications kit and survival kit, and he's going to stow away his ferret. He's still going to keep it, just much like Dave kept his Terra. But he's going to be getting an ion pulse carbine with the wide beam module.
So,
Because fuck you, fuck your armor, and fuck that next guy over the hill.
all right, the idea with the IPC-12 was to be the bastard child between a laser rifle and a plasma carbine.
Yep. I was looking at the plasma originally, and I was like, but it's only short range. And then I saw that
Nice.
ion can do armor penetration at short range, but still hit to medium range. And then if you put on wide beam, it also ignores armor at medium range.
So let me.
So
Wide
I mean,
beam.
like, it also doesn't generate a high amount of heat. So in the snowy area where we're going, I'm less likely to stand out when shooting it if anybody's looking at me with thermals.
So let me put. The wide beam module is essentially makes it so that instead of just firing little blasts, it's a continuous beam.
Yes. Yes. Am I making a beam cannon? You bet your ass.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And for Kathier, I believe off screen we had handled this, but you
We
had
did.
something specific in mind that you're going with, and then I realized what it was after the fact.
Yep. So I'm going for both short range and long range, because like Dave, I'm taking the LR10 or the LAR10. But I took both the carbine module and the sniper module.
And in the process, I ended up realizing after the fact, this is a DMR.
Yes. It is a designated marksman's rifle.
Which suits her character.
But I would like to note to everybody who doesn't understand or hasn't looked at the little markers that you see, like the L1 and the P2 and the E, at the very top, it does tell you what those do. The wide beam module on the ion cannon is marked as L1, which means that this weapon causes damage to everything in a line with a width equal to the indicated number in meters. It is a line 1 meter wide. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but for a person, that's wider than most people are. 1 meter is 3 feet 3 inches, people. That's wider than most people are. So I'm going to be doing this thing where I go swamp.
In other words, he's going to be
wipe
cutting
out Nick
people in.
Avocado.
He's going to be playing butcher and cutting people in half.
Did you ever hear of Butcher? Did you ever hear of Butcher Pete? But after the whole thing is finished, and making sure that everything is cleared, because even with energy weapons, you still have to clear them. I'd say clearing them would be even more important with energy weapons.
Depends. Ion cannon probably wouldn't need as much clearing as, say, a plasma would.
Well, and of course, depending on the weapon of choice, you may not even have to do much besides look at it to clear it.
Yeah. But the reason I say an ion weapon probably wouldn't need much in the way of clearing, it says accelerated heavy ion beams. People, do you know what this means I'm actually holding in my arms?
A railgun?
No, Monk. CERN. I am holding CERN in my arms. I am holding a particle accelerator in my arms.
How's that?
Great. Now we're gonna have time travel.
And black holes. I need to find John Titor, Monk.
But after you guys get refitted and get the equipment that's necessary, you end up returning to the Spirit of Carthage as it takes off, and it's heading because of the long journey that you guys are heading to, since you're heading to northern Africa. Um, you're you're making part of the jump in high atmosphere. Um, I say jump, but it's not like you're folding there. You're taking cruise speed.
You wouldn't fold just to go over part of the same planet. Fold is meant for interstellar distances.
Mhm. But as you guys are traveling, you end up being called in to the briefing room, and there waiting is Vici. And I think you're David. I think you're gonna have to tell the diva to stay in the cabin.
All right. Yeah. So I go up to the demon like, all right, look. I know you want to help out, and you'll get your chance. But right now, this is between us here, the soldiers, and we can't risk anything getting leaked out. So as much as you want to help, I need you to stay here for me. All right? Don't worry. I'll check on you as soon as I can. All right?
Yes, boss.
Thank you.
As you head in, you do see Vici waiting for you. Like, good. You're on time. I like people on time. Let's begin. About 3 hours ago, the UES Apogee, a TriStar class command cruiser, was shot down by Masters forces above the North African quadrant. It crash landed 3 kilometers from the capital city of the Central African Union, the CAU, which, as you may know, is a less than cooperative part of the UEG. Its distress call was received immediately upon landing, but the transmission alerted the enemy to their presence. The Masters moved in on them to finish the job, but our own forces arrived at the same time. They've been fighting ever since. Since all our satellites were lost in the initial attack 18 months ago, initial reports on the ground are inconclusive about the Apogee's current state. But from what we can tell, the ship is still mostly intact, even as the crash area has become a war zone. The op is simple: get in, secure the ship's command staff, and rescue the captain. Failing that, the team is to exfiltrate immediately. Questions?
First
Sounds simple enough
question.
to me.
First question I have: what are our exfiltration options with the command staff?
Repeat.
What are we going in with in order to exfiltrate the command staff? Clearly, we're going in as operatives, basically with what we can carry. What are our options to get them out?
You're not going in fully boots on the ground. You will be in mechs.
Okay, that changes everything.
In fact, I believe one of you has had the requested changes made to a particular mech you that was in your file. Though, and he looks directly at Chia. I have to ask, why did you specifically request the entire thing be painted red?
Well, the spirit of battle guides me, and I don't need to see the blood of my enemies on my mech. They already know it's there.
Very well. I won't pry any further.
And also because I'm damn orky and red goes faster. No, that is out of character, obviously.
I was waiting for that.
That was obviously out of character, Monk. Shia did not say that.
Oh yeah. And with
And then the second, there's one other question Shia has.
Yep.
Do we know how much command staff the Apogee had?
It was leading the 5th attack wing when they were shot down by a capital ship. Uh, it's still somewhat operational, even though it was nearly split in two, but it's obviously not going anywhere. The captain is Ezekiel Saloon, who's who is considered next in line for the ASC's chain of command now that Monument City has been destroyed. Beyond that, the 8th Tactical Corps Division and the 17th TAF Division are on site.
All right. So priority is this captain, Captain Saloon, but any other command staff are also wanted.
Yeah,
Understood. No further questions for me.
it's a bit of a complicated issue because the CAU after the Reign of Death became far more of a powerhouse, both economically and to a certain extent technologically. And because of that, they have a degree of pride when it comes to the global initiative. So the less time that we spend in their space, the better.
Understood.
All right.
Dirge raises his hand but doesn't actually say anything.
Vici just looks at him.
Did is my prototype that I was working on, did it get transferred?
It did, but it's got some work.
Oh, I know. I had lots of work to do on it.
The unfortunately we weren't able to lock in the programming for transformation, so it's stuck in full on Walker mode.
Yeah, that's where I had it left, and yeah, I wasn't able to fix that either.
I mean, it's an impressive set of specs, but it's essentially a non-transforming Veritech. An irony if I ever heard one.
It'll be better when we finish it.
All right.
Any further questions?
Kehir raises her hand. Agent Vici, do we have a map so that way we can gauge distances for the battle lines?
I was just about to get to that, actually. You see the briefing screen that he's been using shift to a rough estimate of the map, though he admits that this map is out of date because no satellites for the last year and a half. But he points out 3 routes. One route is doing a road route under Unity City's Prophet Square. The second route is a fault gorge nearby the crash zone of the apogee, and the third route is doing an infantry insertion using Wyvern gunships. The third route is the fastest, but it's the most dangerous. But
What
if
about
we
the
if
route
we,
for the gorge? What's the timing on that one, do you think?
it has limited cover due to the wreckage of the ship, enough space to get a drop ship with a few mecha in the area, but it is going to involve fighting enemy forces through it.
Well, let's be honest with ourselves. Expecting us to get in here without facing a few grunts isn't going to exactly be the expected route. We're going to be fighting. It's just a matter of how much and how quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was figuring the gorge itself could pose some measure of cover with high walls and the like, especially for the extraction. But we got to clear it first, by the sound of it.
That's not far off.
That might be our best bet. Clear out that gorge, rescue the captain and his crew, and use that gorge to get them out of there with as little problems as possible. We go straight in there, we're gonna be facing everything they got thrown at us. That ain't gonna end well.
All right. Kay here looks at Agent Beachy. Perchance, did both my Sylphid and Modat make it?
Yeah, though I don't. I think the Modat would be a bit under armored for this kind of operation.
Hmm. All right, so out of character, really quick. Is it possible to use like a remote control to summon one of the two?
No,
Damn. Is it possible to program one?
you don't have time.
I mean, not now, but later.
I'll consider it late. I'll consider it later, but right now, you do not have. You do.
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay, here looks at Dirge. I might have a project for you later.
I got my own project. And
But-
he's just grinning wide ear to ear.
For a genius like you, it'd probably only take 5 minutes.
But if there's no further questions, then we will consider Operation Hell Drop to be a go. It's do you all have the route in mind you're going to be taking?
We're going to take Route 2, I'm assuming?
Unless our CO's got any other better ideas.
She has already looked at the route and figured that there's a difference between bravery and recklessness. So obviously she doesn't want to just what's the word? Only fools rush in, I guess is the best way.
Yeah.
She hasn't said anything different because
That was out of character. I'm sorry.
oh
Well, I was one speaking in character, but yeah, I was like, unless you got any other, because he's our commander here. He's the one in charge. I'm referring to him to make sure I ain't stepping on his toes.
no, she goes, looks at Dave. I say, hey, I like killing the enemy as much as the next guy, but there's a difference between killing the enemy and dying to the enemy. Let's not.
I like your way of thinking. And Route 2 it is.
No, Route 3 was the fastest one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's also the most dangerous, which is why we're
Oh.
going with Route 2.
Dur.
I mean, you're gonna be dropping into a hot zone. You're gonna be dealing with the enemy in one form or another.
But there's a difference between fighting a small group of enemies that are probably going to be manageable versus facing the entire fleet and probably getting ourselves killed in the process.
Mm-hmm. With that in mind, I'll give the orders to transport. This briefing is over. Best of luck, and do come back in one piece.
That's the plan.
Kay here's going to stay behind for just a minute to speak to Vici one-on-one.
So there's something on your mind?
The diva. We're not going to be able to babysit him if we're out in the field. What are the arrangements for his quarantine, if you will, sir?
Captain Prana is handling that.
All right, just figured I'd double check because I do want to have a chance to speak with him later.
As I'm coming out, I overhear that real quick, and I don't say anything, but I immediately realize, oh crap, I better make sure nothing goes wrong with this.
There's,
So I'm gonna.
She just looks at Dave, looks back at Kay, and looks back at Dave and goes, I have a feeling that the diva is less of a diva than our dear captain, but you didn't hear me say that.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Exactly.
I immediately walk back over to my quarters real quick and basically go.
By the time you get to your quarters, the diva's not there.
Oh, and
shit.
as we're all headed back, I look to the other two guys and like, so you wanted to see a third gen Veritech? You're gonna get to see one.
Yeah, but you look down the hall and you see Captain Prana putting the diva in a camel clutch.
And I immediately observe, Captain, what the hell is going on here?
She has also rushed up and gone, I don't think his body was made to bend like that, Captain Prana.
It's like, oh,
I'm trying to keep from laughing.
nothing you need to worry about. I'm just teaching our friend here a little bit of discipline regarding my ship.
I was about to handle that, Captain. I'm the one that's watching her.
Him.
I was gonna make sure. Yeah, I keep doing that. I was the one assigned to watch him. I was going to make sure that they didn't cause any problems.
Then tell him to not put his hands where they shouldn't be.
Can you let him go, please, Captain?
As she lets go.
Kay here just pinches the bridge of her nose and mutters under her breath, "This is why I asked for him not to be roomed with me."
At this point, I'm like, just give me a moment, Captain, if you don't mind.
She chuckles at Kahir's words specifically, but it's timed with Captain Prana's release of the diva.
Of course, as I'm saying, give me a moment, I'm dragging the diva back to my quarters for a minute.
Dragging him by ear.
Yeah.
Whereas
By hook or by crook?
Shia looks at Kahir and is like, if I didn't know better, I'd say the diva was never actually a diva.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
For
starting to wonder.
context out of character, I'm just going to note this. Troilians, i.e. the Masters, are clone based.
Yep.
And very, very caste based. So the diva is very fish out of water with all of this.
Okay.
Now, here's the twist. I'm going to drag the diva back into my quarters, close the door, and then I'm immediately going to go, like, look, I had to put on some airs there, so I'm sorry if I hurt you there, but you need to listen to me for a minute. Here's the deal. Me and my crew have got a big mission to save some people. Which means I'm not going to be here to keep an eye out on you. Now, Captain Prana, I'll straight up say it. She's a bitch. Alright? She's tough, she's strict as shit, and she's going to give you a hard time. I know that's going to be hard for you, but I need you to listen to me. Listen to what she says. Don't cause any trouble. And if you have any problems, let me know when I get back and I'll deal with it. But just be careful with her. She's a tough one.
He's like, I'm fine with that. I do not feel like getting stretched again.
No, I don't think anyone would, but I'm just looking out for you. They're gonna probably ask you questions. They're probably gonna poke and prod you as much as I want them not to, but they're gonna probably try to do it. Refuse what you can, comply when you have to, but just stay out of trouble. Can you do that for me?
He nods.
Whereas, after Dave dragged the diva back to his room, Shia actually turned back to Captain Prana. You said you wanted him to keep his hands out of things they shouldn't be in. What were you mentioning there? Did he assault anyone on the ship?
I think you're Captain. I think you're smart. I think you're smart enough to put two and two together when it comes to places men shouldn't be touching.
I'm pretty smart, yes. But the thing is, how would a Troilian know that about humans?
I don't think he did, but a lesson had to be learned.
And of course, I've already figured this out anyway, because it's like as soon as the captain said that, I'm like, oh, he did not.
Well, the big thing is Shia wanted clarification just so he could be perfectly justified in getting on the captain's case for a second, going, you really could have just slapped him. I think he would have gotten it. And at that point, Shia turns to go back to his quarters.
Well, she immediately goes, if I slap him, I could really hurt him.
I think the impromptu yoga session was a little bit safer for our new friend.
Shia turns back at the captain real quick, and I'm like, if your slap could have hurt him, then he's too weak to even be aboard a military vessel.
Perhaps, but unfortunately he is. So we play the cards we're dealt.
Indeed.
Look, real quick, I'm gonna be finishing my thing. Like, also, I know you're curious about a lot of things, but better to just ask and keep your hands to yourself. You don't want to be grabbing things you shouldn't be.
And you might want to gesture to both your torso and your groin, so that way he doesn't get any ideas.
Yeah. Basically, points to his chest, points to down there. These two areas, usually off limits to most humans. Best not to mess with them.
Out of character, you might want to also mention your ass.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna point like the whole area here.
Yeah.
Here and all around here. No touchy.
How could I not reference that kind of trope?
But as she is walking away after that small exchange with Captain Prana, he doesn't see Dirge because Dirge is probably already skittered off to who knows where to touch up on his Veritech. And
Exactly.
he turns to
like that.
Yes, I did. Yes, I absolutely did, Monk. But Shia turns to Kahir and goes, "You might as well get whatever rest you can before we get to the active combat zone," and goes back to his own quarters as well.
Kahir bypasses her quarters and knocks on Dave's door.
Enter.
She sticks her head in. Hey, you two up for a chat?
I think we've gotten most everything else covered. Come on in.
She looks at the diva as she takes a seat. There's not many places to sit, so I believe there's maybe a chair, the bed, and then the diva's inflatable bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dave, where are you sitting?
I think both me and the diva are going to be in our individual beds at this point.
Okay, so Kay here's going to take a quick seat on the chair. She looks at the diva, smirks, and says, "What did we learn?"
Not to touch things I shouldn't.
More specifically, I think this applies more to the females than the males.
Yeah,
But
this is where you should probably speak up that no guys probably would not like it.
Yeah.
now, granted, most men won't be open to touchy-feeliness either. But for us ladies, she gestures to the twins. These are 100% off limits.
I know that you being what we've learned already about your particular race, things might be different for you guys, but just trust us on this. Things are very different for us humans here on Earth. You got to be careful about that kind of thing, or else you're going to get yourself in all kinds of trouble you don't want to be in.
All right. Kay Heater's going to take a slightly deep breath, and she's going to look at the diva and say, "Now, your fellow masters are trying to kill you if they can't have you. This puts us at a huge risk. What is it that you do that makes it all or nothing for them?
Up until this point, the diva's been somewhat flighty, somewhat skittish, somewhat childish, one might argue. But you see him change his tone a bit. Say, I believe here there's a thing called queen bees.
Yes. Really quick, I'm actually going to roll close quarters for the social situations. That way I can see if I can read between the lines a little deeper.
All right. Because of the fact that this isn't that he's speaking in euphemisms, um, roll with hindrance.
Okay, so click hindrance. Let's see, that is a 3. Uh, oh, that was not supposed to do that. Let's see, I got no successes.
Mhm. Yep, which means you, as far as reading between the lines, that's not going to happen just yet.
Okay.
Um, but he he does he does explain he does explain a bit, namely the fact that my people are akin to what would be a colony of ants or bees in this place. Every individual is built in a particular caste with a particular role. In an ant colony, you have worker ants, you have builder ants, and so on. As far as I understand it, I've never seen an ant colony.
No, it does make sense. Don't worry. You're not speaking it. If I need clarification, I'll let you know.
One with my people, there are the castes, and it operates in a roughly similar manner. But the res- the result of that is I'm a musician, and with that music, the minds of other castes, other lower castes than me, can be controlled.
Hmm.
That's not unlike what we did with our idols in the Zentradi.
I think now you understand why they would be so desperate to take me out if they can't control me.
I do, but your sense of self-preservation is a little stronger than their will by the look of it.
For us here on Earth, that's a strength. And a damn good one, too.
Yes, it is.
But
Kehir,
I need you to promise me something.
what is it?
What I'm telling you, do not tell anyone else.
Not.
If anyone on this ship found out what I could do, that would make things a whole lot more complicated. No doubt your captain would take a much bigger interest in me than stretching me for my earlier mistake.
That's
You're definitely
understandable.
not wrong about that. No, I could see the problem right now, and yeah, we definitely don't need that. But if we reach a point where your help is needed, we will only ask you then, only as a last resort. Just trust me, I'd rather not expose that secret if I can help it. But I also know that there's no 100% guarantees in life.
We'll cross that bridge when the time comes, but right now, I'd rather not. I'd rather not do anything that could expose me or run the risk of going back. He looks a little bit. He's not. He's not saying what is the reason why, but he's not comfortable with the thought of being around the Legion that he escaped.
Kekia is going to reach over, or she's going to scooch the chair that she's sitting in towards the end of his bed, and reach over and place a gentle hand on his shoulder.
He does flinch for a second because, well, he is still somewhat scared of you.
We're going to do what we can to make sure you get out of this.
I
We
can't
just-
speak forever. Sorry, go ahead.
Out of character, what was the Legion's name again?
Nihilus.
Nihilus. Any information you can give us on Nihilus would not only help us, but it would also help you into escaping.
I'll think it over.
Of course. This isn't an immediate thing. Right now, our focus is just keeping our people alive. But we also want to protect you. You are your own person, and you get the chance to feel that now. Now it's time to see what you decide to do with that. It's up to you. It's not up to anybody else on this ship. And if anyone says otherwise, you let me know, and I'll deal with them myself. Even if it's the captain.
Oops. Sorry about that. A little bit of a gaff with TTS because Coops was complaining about ads.
Ha.
I thought I had taken care of that, but I guess not.
Nonetheless, Kehir reaches into a pocket on her left side and pulls out a simple little device. This is if you feel you're in danger. And I mean only absolute, total danger of losing your life. You push that button, it'll let me know. Alright?
He nods.
Actually, before he hands it over, because I am a communications expert, I mean, I have a communications kit. For fuck's
So do
sake.
I.
So I also tune it to my communications kit so that it will go to both of us. This is heavily encrypted, meaning the only two people that are going to receive these communications are Kehir and I. No one else.
Now, I guarantee you I'm being watched very heavily, especially by Agent Vici. Is there anything you can tell me that I can pass along to him so that way I can at least satisfy his curiosity and not arouse suspicion?
He shakes his head. I'll tell you in time, but you've got more important things to do.
Okay.
All right.
Just
Now,
rest up.
remember what we told you? Rest up and stay safe.
So, as you guys leave and head to the hangar, you see that the hangar is certainly full of various Batloids and Veritech fighters.
And it looks like I've been sleeping in mine all night.
along with one different looking one that you have that doesn't look like anyone that the rest of you have seen.
And I immediately comment, okay, I have seen many a Veritech in my day. What in the name of Earth is that?
And well, Dirge, this is your cue.
Oh, well, you wanted to see a third gen. Now you get the chance.
Yeah, and for context, as far as anyone else is concerned, all the Batloids and Veritechs that you've seen are second generation, the ones that were made after the first Robotech war. But this thing looks very, very different.
For
And
reference, synchronicity.
mhm.
Dude.
He calls down. Yeah, you guys can remember your Guardian mode? That's outdated. This has a different mode. It turns into a helicopter.
Well,
She grins and goes, "Oh, I am testing that thing when it's finished."
settle down there, buddy.
Not
Or is
only
it
that,
just-
all of the weapons in it are fully modular. We can pull them out at any time and replace them easily. We don't have to do a specific configuration. This thing is optimized.
I am absolutely testing that thing when it's finished. Shia turns and looks at Dave and Kiki and goes, "I was a test pilot for a lot of Veritechs in my previous posts, so testing new Veritechs is nothing new to me."
Kehira walks
When he mentions his previous post, though, there's this slight look of annoyance and frustration before he starts walking over towards the Logan that's clearly painted crimson and gold just for him.
Yep. And for a bit of context, I don't have a color image in Batloid mode, but here is the Logan.
Good shit.
And it is the standard 3 setup with it. Or actually,
Logan
it's not, because
Logan only has two.
Yeah, it only has Batloid and Fighter mode.
Yep, and that's for streamlining purposes.
Mm-hmm. Whereas the Sylphid only has Fighter and Guardian mode. Which is why something like the Ajax is going to be a big damn deal.
Hell, for that helicopter mode, that's likely going to be useful for transport. Which, considering what kind of mission we're doing, will be kind of becoming
Well,
handy.
it can't go into that transport mode yet.
Yeah, it's stuck in robot mode for the moment.
God damn it!
It's stuck in Batloid mode and is not going to get its other modes anytime soon.
Thankfully, I've got my hover tank.
Mm-hmm. So you do hear over the PA that they're about to hit the drop zone. So time to suit up.
Yep.
He obviously puts on the Gusoku helmet and everything else, and he's now fully kitted out in his Gusoku armor. Before jumping into the cockpit of his Logan, Shia actually pulls a picture from one of his waterproof pockets on the flight suit, because, well, of course you have those as part of your kit. To pull out a picture of him and his a woman he is very close with, but is no longer around because she is back at his previous command post. And stares at it for a very long second before putting it back in the pocket as a good luck charm.
Oh, and there's color pictures of both the Logan and the Sylphid.
Yep.
And of course, as I board the Myrmidon, I do the same thing, but instead, I pull out a picture of a whole crew of people. And he just stares at him like, not again. Never again.
Kate here struggles a little bit with her helmet and feels it tip back suddenly, and she goes, God damn it. And blonde curl falls against her nose. She quickly tucks it away and rights her helmet.
I'm just fiddling with controls and trying to fix things.
Yeah. So now, as far as variance when it comes to your mechs, that's not going to be a thing for this operation. But you guys eventually drop in. As you approach the drop zone, this is where you come to the startling realization that when Vici said you're going to be dropping in, he meant that literally. You're going in low to jump off. Basically, because of the way it's set up, you guys are going to be doing a halo jump in mechs.
Okay.
Which is why we're all in sealed suits, because, low oxygen environments.
Low oxygen environments, and it's a long way down, so I hope you're not afraid of heights.
It's a long way from the top if you want to rock and roll.
But eventually you do land with a loud crash from a superhero landing. I mean, you were able to use the mech to slow the fall a little bit, but slow doesn't mean stop.
Yeah.
I mean, Shia would have gone back into jet mode for a moment to control the fall before going back into Guardian mode to land.
And I've got my powered leap feature, so
Yeah. So yeah, it still is a superhero landing. It's a murder on your knees.
It's also Shia in the back of his head he's playing his favorite classic song from the late 1900s of Earth, a solo that's 7 minutes long. Is this a Freebird reference? Yes it is. Fuck you all, that's why.
But as you do eventually land, you see that the war zone is several kilometers long. The grasses near the remains of a depot outside of Unity City are set alight by your re-entry, and the surface around the ship is still hot. The surrounding area is littered with supplies, crates, and debris ripped from the ship. Entire pieces of hull have been torn from the structure, with chunks obscuring the path ahead, and plumes of particle fire can be seen arcing upwards through the distance. So I'm going to make a certain roll, so I can determine. Let's see. We're going to roll this as D6. determine how many of the wingmen got shot down. Only one. So you'll have some degree of air support. But as you go through the debris, you do notice the presence of mecha. And because of the fact that you guys are in mechs and they're in mechs, you are easily spotted. So, John.
Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's combat time.
So let's see what we've got here. We have a soldier bioroid. In fact, we've got actually this is going to be as a swarm, so it is just one. Swarms operate on kind of a minion rule, but we do have a sub commander as well as a scout, a different soldier, basically a commander. And let me take that back. Two commanders. So you've got some frontliners. You've got a swarm, and you've got a scout. So how are you going to approach this? And keep in mind that the debris that's all over the place, you do have cover for the mechs.
Well, I can start things off here because I actually, thanks to my Myrmidon, have an advanced sensor unit. And I would use that with the scanning sweep to basically get a feel for the field and get an idea of who's the biggest target, who's the most important target.
So most of them seem to have either drum or disc type gun pods. One of them, specific. The two. Actually, I'm going to move these into the back. Move this one up front. I'm still not going to be using any maps for this campaign because it doesn't. I don't feel it fits. But the frontline soldiers are mostly using drum pods. In the back, you've got one that's using a disc pod, one that's using a particle bazooka, and one that's using a heavy gun pod.
All right. With that, I'm gonna relay everything over to the rest of the crew. Like, here's what we're dealing with, guys. They're coming in armed and coming in hot.
Theo listens to the intelligence, and they already saw us, right, Monk?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. However, what I'd like to do is using that particular knowledge that they've seen us and we've seen them and we're all aware of each other. Sheena is going to look around for suitable cover for our mechs, since we're outnumbered.
Mm-hmm.
Using counter position.
All right.
And he is since he's doing this as basically I've just heard the most minimum information understand, which is weapons descriptions. That's going to be looking for the best cover for the most destructive weapons that they have, probably the particle bazooka. She is going to be doing this first, looking for the cover, which I believe puts me in element for exemplar. And we're going to see if we can do this. 3 successes.
3 successes out of 3 dice. That's a nice sweep.
A 5 and a 6 gives me 3 successes. It's very nice. But Shia points out that while all of them have some manner of weaponry, that particle bazooka is going to be a big bastard, and points out the various places around the battlefield that are going to be the most cover for everybody else, so that way it blocks basically, or at least the cover is good for all of the mecha we're using, and dashes behind the closest piece himself to post up, getting ready for a counteroffensive.
Mm-hmm. All right. And as
So
for... Go ahead.
So basically, his Logan is posted behind a huge chunk of broken ship somewhere, and he's looking around. He's got his gun pod in hand, ready to go.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's your action.
Yep.
I'm moving for cover, whatever I can find.
Mm-hmm. So you got two moving for cover. Kathia, you're still up in the sky. You're still up in the air in this kind of situation because you don't have much reason to be walking.
Yep. And I am going to use. I'm going to roll for machinations to get a sense of the how the enemy's positioned, to see if I can figure out their game plan.
All right.
Oh crap! I forgot to change to normal.
Mulligan.
Fuck.
You got a 5 on the first roll, Monk. That's 1 success.
Yeah, I'll let that go. So obviously the green one in the back seems to be at the center of their formation, but they're setting it to essentially set up as much ordnance as they can in the direction of the general group.
Okay. With me being sky high, would it be beneficial for me to cause a distraction to get their eyes off the team?
You can, or at least you can at least make the attempt.
All right. All right. You know what? I'm gonna roll smooth method for that. And as I'm rolling smooth method, I'm going to take my sulfate down and just spray them with as much ammo as I can possibly get during that burst before I pull back up.
All right.
It's supposed to be 3 dice. Oh, that's 2 successes.
Mm-hmm. So you don't hit don't hit per se, but you
I'm not
do.
looking to hit. I'm looking to distract.
Yeah, and because of that they have to reposition to get out of your shots. Since you're basically doing a striking run,
Pretty much.
um, or if you prefer a warthog run.
Heh.
Just call me Pumbaa.
Half the reference he was making, but yes.
Yeah, but with that in mind, it's that. David, did you act?
Well, I did set everything up, but I also probably
Burge
would go
hasn't
into cover.
acted yet. He just said he was going to go into cover, but he didn't actually
Yeah,
do any actions.
Yeah, I'm counting that. I'm counting that as his action. I'm just trying to remember if David had acted.
I did the scanning sweep, but I would also go into cover because
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
All right, and in that situation, they're gonna be making their counterattack, starting with the uh, the scout swarm. So after this is rolled, you guys are gonna roll to try and try and get out of the way in whichever way you see fit. And you guys need to get two. You guys need to get two hits, otherwise you're taking damage.
In whatever way we can.
Yeah, whichever skill and talents you'd want to roll to resist.
All four of us?
Yep.
All right,
Oh,
I'm going to
so-
use Escape Artist.
I'm going to use blend in.
I'm gonna go ahead and use machinations to figure out which way how they're firing, so I can know where to dodge. Three successes, baby.
And of course, she is going to use his patented flash move, because fuck them, I'm going to move in a way they can't understand.
Okay. So unfortunately, you needed two. So everyone but David takes one stress. Actually, no. Know what? I scratched that. It's going to be because of the equipment setup. It's going to be working a little bit different. So let's see. And this is why I wish there was a sheet. There was a mech sheet on Roll20, but there isn't. So I gotta wing this. So whoever. So fortunately, I'm going to wing it in the sense that the only person who takes stress is going to be Kathier.
Sounds good.
Uh, as you guys got some dings, but it's not you're not in the worst situation yet.
Mm-hmm. And now we're rolling cover.
And yeah,
Except
especially given the boost from cover, which means some of that is going to be reduced. Some of the attack is reduced, which means now it is your turn to go.
All right. Was anybody able to determine and relay who the leader was?
Kehira did notice that our sub-commander here was set up differently, and she relays this to Shia.
And I believe I also added to that with the scanning sweep because that's what I was doing, was checking to see who had what and everything like that. So I would have easily pointed out the sub-commander as well. So we worked together on that.
All right.
Should we focus on the sub-commander and take him out first?
That's what she is going to do with Headhunter.
And I'm going to join and fire my big gun at her.
So Shia recognizes the commander and goes, "If we take out the sub-commander, we may be able to scatter these soldiers, or at least make them less effective." And he's, across the comm channel to the rest of the team. "We're gonna need some layers of fire here." But after that, he just says, "Cover me," and decides that he's going to, dash into a piece of cover closer to the Commander Bioroid while shooting the gun pod at them.
Well, while you're doing that, actually, I have the perfect setup for you.
Okay.
Because I can provide that covering fire because I have a skill specifically designed for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge in. While he's charging in, I'm going to provide the covering fire using Cover Your Buddy.
All right. Monk, I will note that charging into the battle and going for the commander gives me both Exemplar and Headhunter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want that at edge or do you want that at advantage?
Advantage.
Okay.
And also, if I'm targeting all the other weaker enemies, wouldn't that count for Fox Among Hounds?
Yes.
So that's gonna put me in my element. So I can also I can at least roll with edge, if not an advantage for that.
So using flash move, because again, Shia's whole thing is dashing between positions while fucking up people. This is why I made flash move my Ford when I started. He's gonna go for our erstwhile sub commander Bioroid. 7 successes.
Damn! Here, let me add to that. Here, let me go ahead and throw in Cover Your Buddy.
4 more successes.
And
I'm going to fire at the sub commander too with my gun pod. With let's see, what have I got here? I've got fearless as my demeanor, so that helps.
With your setup, the question is which gun pod?
The big one, the EU-15, the one that ignores 2 points of armor when somebody else is firing at the same target.
All right.
So exactly how many dice am I going to be rolling on this?
Whatever your skill is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got to use a skill. Okay. If that's the case, oh no.
Because you're looking at the. Yeah, you're not using an equipment suite, which would have its own skill.
Well, actually, no. I could use the Relentless Equipment Suite.
But that would
literally, Ajax has a massive array of weapons, can drill down a target instantly. All the Ajax weapons fire at a single target within. Are we within medium range?
I'd say so.
Okay, then it ignores 2 points of armor, and the turn this skill is used, gain 1 point of extra armor, and requires 2 uses of cluster missiles.
Yeah, it's gonna use a. This is also the only use of relentless you have for the battlefield.
This is essentially an alpha strike on the sub commander.
That's the idea.
You know what this is? If he's firing all of his weapons, including missiles, I get to use something I haven't used in a long time.
oh no! Hold on, let me get my headphones off.
So, what would this be? Just normal? I mean, I am going fearless on this.
It says skill 4. You'd roll 4 dice.
No,
yeah.
I mean in terms of would it be normal, edge, advantage, what?
Advantage.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Roll it and then I'll call it.
Oh, just 2.
Hey, it's still better than nothing. So, yeah. For you right now, it's Weasel Unit Total Assault!
Yeah, and remember that does ignore 2 armor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and from above, Kehir is going to use heavy encryption while let's see. I'm in fighter mode currently, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use my particle cannons.
All right.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me double check heavy encryption here. God damn it! I did not mean to click out of the window.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
So I guess in response to your question, Monk, of which weapon pod am I firing at them? Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with heavy encryption for this. And as I'm laying down fire, I'm going to attempt to screw up their mechs
All right.
with the communications array.
Yep. Roll it.
And because that is a dirty fighter, and that's one of my new elements, does that give me advantage?
Yes.
Or not advantage, but edge.
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
Hey, guys.
That's not Snake Eyes, Monk. There's too many dice for that.
It's Snake Eyes if you're at a
Fucking
nuclear power
kidding
plant.
me?
Snake Eyes in your fear in Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope. Them's the breaks.
But
The
let
dice
me.
gods show no mercy.
The dice gods, they are evil.
Yes.
Dice God show no mercy. As
Amen.
He just said. Amen.
Amen. So, first off, let's see. Let me count because all of this is you just taking every pot shot you can at the sub commander.
Oh no, I was
So-
going for the bioroids.
Same here.
Yeah, remember that David is laying down suppressive fire on the bioroid so that I can get in to the sub commander, and it's Dirge that's also firing on the sub commander.
Yeah, I wanted him to hurt.
So, because of the fact that that's 4 hits against the swarm, that means that the swarm is now down to two soldier bioroids, and that brings us to the attacks on the sub commander.
The EP-20 gun pod does mecha class damage, Monk. So,
Yep.
however much armor it has, take off those hits, and then the rest is mecha class damage.
Yep. So
I hope the bioroid didn't like its day today.
How much penetration do you have?
On the EP-20, I don't think there's any. That's why 2 of it would, or however much armor would be soaked.
So in that regard, his armor is down. His armor is down to 3.
He had
But-
10 armor.
I ignore 2 of that.
Or let me Actually no. His armor is gone because his armor is 1 mecha.
Oh well, then he takes 6 more mecha damage after that.
And his structure is 2.
So I just killed him.
Yeah, you one-shotted it. You one-shotted even destroying the gun pod that he had. So
Oh, and now I'm
With-
also
And I made sure he died.
yeah, with 4 more points extra plus the 2 more from Dirge, so minus 6 structure, which means I believe it is time for the Friday button.
Oh yeah, yeah, that definitely calls for this.
You got knocked the fuck out!
As now, and I'm pretty sure that brings a bit of shock now that everyone on both sides can see. Wait, that Ajax just has a shitload of missiles and 2 high-powered gun pods.
over the comms. Everybody can hear Shia go. I want one yesterday.
At this point, I just literally go, Gia, keep it in your goddamn pants.
But
And over the intercom, I'm like, hey, the big one has a long range on it.
so
Ladies love Brandon Trent.
No. I think this is more of a bitches love cannons.
That one also works, but
I was gonna channel Sergeant Johnson.
that's
I
what
know
I
what the
did.
ladies. Yeah, but there is an attempt at countering. That's just going to be 2, and that's 1 hit. So, Sia, you get hit 1 damage to armor, unless you've got resist.
I don't have resist, but I can spend a hardware point, and I'm going to spend one of my tactical missiles on its hard point gets pinged off me.
All right, you don't have access to those missiles.
Yep, I'm down to 1 use of tactical missiles when I'm in fighter mode.
Mm-hmm. So
as a for those who don't understand what just happened, and I imagine that's probably most people, every mecha in the game has hardware points where they're hard points that you can mount weapons to, but they also count as basically extra health if you want to take damage to that hardware rather than taking damage to the mecha itself. As such, rather than losing my armor or losing anything else, losing a set of missiles I'm not even using right now seemed like the best choice.
Mm-hmm. But as for the rest, let me see. So that would be all right. That's going to be a roll. That's going to be a roll of 1 each. So I'm going to be rolling. I'm going to be rolling that as.
Part of my flash move was just moving between cover, so I am back in cover at this point.
Which, because of that, they're going to be rolling with hindrance. So they better hope they get 5s.
You mean 6s?
They got nothing.
They got 1.
What? Oh, 1.
Hindrance makes 5s not count, Monk.
But they got a 6.
They got a 6. It hasn't rolled fully on my side, but it did get 6.
I see 1.
So one of you is going to
5.
The one that looks like it's a 2 is actually a 6, and it's on
It
its
hasn't
side.
finished rolling.
Yeah. 3D dice clearly need some work, but we'll roll with it. But point is, one of you is taking 1 point of armor damage.
How about it hit me and not do any damage? Resist 1.
Fair? So.
Ping, ping, ping.
Yep.
Once again, Shia over the comms. And it can soak. This is my dream.
Yep. But with that said, it is now your guys' turn to act. So how are you going to approach this?
At this point, considering we've already taken out the sub commander, at this point it's just basically just wipe them out. Let's go. I'm gonna go with an ironclad strategy and just go for it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot at the scout before they can report back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the same and try to knock out its communications again with heavy encryption.
All right, David, you roll first.
All right. Well, since I'm still aiming at the swarm, my fox kicks in. In fact, actually, I get the full effect of Fox Among Hounds.
All right. So I think in that case,
actually gives me access to the equipment suite.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that also still gives me what, edge or advantage?
Edge.
All right, that works for me. One success.
All right, so you took one more down. And Chia, what I want you to roll next for your action.
Okay. So Shia realizes that they are probably going to try and mess with him most after taking out their commander.
Mm-hmm.
So Shia's gonna get a little he's gonna get a little sneaky, a little bit mysterious by using ambush tactics to misdirect them into thinking that he's behind one pile of cover when he's behind another pile of cover before he pops out to shoot them. So let's go ahead and ambush tactics. 3 successes.
All right, so which did you say you were targeting?
I'm targeting any of the soldiers remaining. I see that other people are taking care of the scout right now, so I'm just trying to trick them into looking one way while I shoot them from another.
All right, the soldier swarm is dealt with, and and as far as the remaining soldiers, one of them took a decent hit, but it's not fully taken out. So Dirge, it sounded like you were going to be targeting the scout. Roll your action.
All right, for that, I am going to be using smooth method. So got 2.
You got 2, so
And that was using the big gun pod, so
yeah. And the thing about scouts is that they technically have light tier armor, not mecha tier armor.
so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Mecha damage is, remember everybody, it's factors of 10. 1 mecha damage is 10 light damage.
So it already ignored 1 point of target armor, so it just basically vaporized them.
Yep, the scout is no more.
All right.
This scout is no more.
It has ceased to exist.
It's expired and got to meet its maker.
It is an ex-scout.
Now he's scouting the
All right.
afterlife.
Yep.
All right. Kahir, seeing that the scout has been taken out, is going to attempt another dive to take out the communications on these two.
All right.
While still laying suppressive fire.
All right.
So
fire away.
Dirty Fighter comes in handy. So rolling with edge. Hey, 2 successes.
All right. So that is 20. So that's a total of 20 damage, again 20 light damage. So their armor is gone. Their armor is gone.
All right.
And their structure is taking 12 damage. So they're not out, but they're not far off.
All right. I call over the do I know if their comms have been knocked out?
It's you can. They're not communicating in a language you know, so it's hard to say.
Fair enough. I thought I spoke Zentradi. Or is the master... Or
They're
is...
probably speaking Triolian.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I call out over the comms. All right, guys. Comms may or may not be knocked out, but they are good and softened up.
And since they're now softened up, they're going to be trying to attack you guys.
Gia over the comms. Get out of gun range.
So, all right, 2 hits. So that's two damage against you guys for that one.
Do we have an option to respond or no?
Yes. You can always respond.
All right. Well,
You just need to get 2 hits in order for your respond to take priority.
yeah. Second.
What are they firing at us?
They're basically firing gun pots.
Okay, just checking.
So, in this respect, I'm gonna be using omniprescient to try and detect how they're moving in and out of position in order to put myself outside of the line of fire, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
3 successes.
Woo!
And you managed to dodge their shots.
Yep. So I also kind of drew their fire to me, meaning nobody else is getting shot at.
Mm-hmm.
Shia over the comms, specifically to Kahir. I thought I told you to fly out of the line of fire. You're welcome.
Yep. But if there's any major takeaway when it comes to the way the fight is going on, is that even though she is in a mech and Batloid mode, it seems to move faster than it should. Whether you chalk that up to the specs of the mech or the reflexes of the pilot is up to you.
This is once again where I will quote Zone of the Enders, the second runner. It's the runner, not the frame, that makes the difference. Which makes sense considering Leo Stenbuck and, well, Leo Vaughn. We're both Leos. Look at that.
Yeah. Although it's kind of rich coming from Leo Stenbuck.
Leo Stenbuck in the fucking Vic Viper, not even an orbital frame to begin with, and still better than anything in PvP mode.
Yeah. But I digress. It's now your guys' round, so how are you going to approach the last 2?
Well, I've been keeping track of things at this point, so I'm ready to study their machinations and just go all in on that.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yep.
And I'm assuming the Fox element is still in play.
Yes.
All right, so I'll see my edge. And I gotta re-roll that because that's only supposed to be 4 dice. There we go. 3 successes.
Nice.
And that is 30 damage against their armor. So they are both wiped out. Because you're sending lightly armored mechs against a fucking tank.
Yeah. She still wants an Ajax. It's his dream come true. Please.
Oh my god.
It'll be more of his dream once it actually can transform.
This is a case of stop. His penis can only get so erect.
Yes, exactly. Krieger applies here. Once
But
it's a jet and a helicopter and a robot, and it does all of these things, tasty.
that's
Oh my
what
God.
Okay, I am not letting him anywhere near my mech alone.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Don't worry, I'll just requisition it once it becomes mass produced.
Which actually won't be long.
Yes, and considering my rank, I'll be one of the first in line for it.
Yeah. But you eventually, after dealing with the opposition, come to the engine section of the ship. It's still partially on fire and a smoking wreck that's been ripped apart by heavy cannons. You see some big holes right through the outer plating and many of the decks going deep into the ship.
Well, this doesn't look inviting.
Yeah, and it is basically a ship that's nearly cut in half.
We know which half the command deck is in, right?
Yeah, I mean
We have that map.
this isn't the same class that you're an expert on, but
But I've worked on one before.
Mhm.
I've probably
But-
worked on many different ships before.
Yeah, but we're going to handle that in a bit because right now we are going to go to break.
You're muted.
I just realized it. All right, folks, you heard it here first. It is time to get your drinks, get your snacks, maybe use the bathroom. We will be back in 10.
are back, ladies and gentlemen.
As the chiropractor often says, glad to see you're back.
Alrighty.
So there's a few options that you get. So there's a few options that you guys have in terms of um, where you can head. You can head either to. Are you guys gonna? You can head to the upper decks, the middle decks, or the lower decks.
Is Sam back yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, just making sure.
But well, we do know the lay. I do know the layout of the ship, but I know where the command deck is. Which decks would it be on?
Command deck and bridge, that would be on the upper deck.
So we have to get to the upper decks.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that there isn't an easy entrance to them right here, though. Or is there an easy way to get into the upper decks from here right now?
You can always just jump. You guys are in mechs.
This is true. So
So we're going to Van Halen it?
that was actually pretty good. Thanks, man.
That was. Might as well jump.
She radios over to everybody else. The command deck is on the upper decks of these ships. We should probably go in with our mechs. As you know, most of the ships are built to allow Robotech around many areas. So we should get in as far with our mechs as possible before we have to get out.
Sounds like a good call to me. Who knows what's waiting for us in there?
KK is going to quickly shift from fighter mode to guardian mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will jump to the upper decks and go through with our mecha as much as possible.
Yeah. You do find that there's some big ass holes in the bridge section, which on one hand would make it a very good sniper's nest. On the other hand, it's exposed to the elements, so it's a case where the door swings both ways. Or if I have to speak video game with it, think of Pink Tower on midship.
Yep. Good for sniping, but it's wide open.
It's wide open, and all that it takes to lose it is the wrong grenade. But up there, you do not see any. You do see some of the crew, along with a sniper team from the ASC with sniper rifles and rocket launchers set up. And after a bit of conversation, they inform you guys that the captain was last seen in the comm center.
Okay, so again, she has been on ships like this one. Comm center, is it in the other half of the ship?
It's in the upper decks, but it's a little bit further in.
Okay, so over loudspeed. Well, technically, actually, we could probably do it over suit comms if they're all suited up.
Yeah, and here's the hard part. The comm center is not going to be a spot where you could bring in mechs. It's too small.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if they're in the comm center, would I be able to? Is any part of the equipment still active, or is this whole ship shut down?
The ship is in what would be the equivalent of silent running.
Yeah, comms are off, the engines are off, minimum power generation to keep life support up, that sort of thing.
All right. KK is going to exit out of her mech. Somebody give me a map. I'll get in through the vents.
Getting in through, doing the vents thing is on a ship this size is a labyrinth. This is not the same as doing it in an office building.
Fair enough.
No, we're gonna have to go in together.
She dismounts, looks at Kate here and is like, You will take days to reach them if we go by vent. We're just going to have to take the risk and go through the main hallways.
All right. Well, she Kehir reaches in to a, storage point on her mech and pulls out her new gun. Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I ain't going in unarmed.
Yeah. Before I exit my mech, I'm gonna run another. I'm gonna use my advanced sensor unit and run another sweep to see if there's anything else on board that we should be aware of.
You're not able to get a whole lot. Just that within the decks, there's quite a few Terminator bioroids.
With that, I grab my rifle and hop out. We better be ready, guys. I did a check before I got out. There's other bioroids waiting for us down there. We will not be alone.
Yeah,
Was it the
of
same ones that
course.
we had to face last time?
More than likely.
Which means it's Nihilus this time.
We don't know whether it's Nihilus or not. It's not until we kill them and take their heads.
Fair enough.
Regardless, we know we've got bogeys waiting for us, so...
Exactly. They're the enemy. They're preventing us from getting to our objective and saving these people. She looks to the command staff. Are any of you pilots? Any of you can run a Veritech?
One of them raises his hand and says, "I've got piloting experience."
All right. This is a standard Logan. Not exactly standard. Maybe it'll help you. Maybe it won't. Looks over at Dave. Do you want him in the Myrmidon or my Logan?
Myrmidon can... At that point, I hop over and I activate the transformation, turn into its hover tank mode. This thing can take a few more hits, and it can carry more people. Might be a better idea to take the Myrmidon.
All right. You, in the Myrmidon, you're going to at least keep the people here safe and wait for us to return with your captain. I also direct the team to at least stack back up and try and put the mechs behind the Myrmidon, so the Myrmidon is the first line of defense. Yeah. So the Ajax, the Sylphid, and the Logan are staggered behind, especially since we're not going to be in them.
Mm-hmm.
Before we advance towards the comms deck, before we go though, Monk, before we actually head out, I am going to use inspirational on this group, including my own people. We may be in the middle of a firing squad. Effectively, we may be in the crucible, but we've been sent by the ASC to take you all back home. We're gonna save you. There's nothing that we can't do if we all work together. I've only known these three for a few days now, but I know they all have my back. He looks over at everybody and goes, "And you all know that I have yours." Turns back to the group, looks at the pilot. You have the unique responsibility of making sure the rest of your crew, the people you've worked with and trusted, are going to survive this while we're gone. Work hard. Know that you've got everybody behind you, and we can all make it through this. With that, she brings the ion rifle around. Looks at the rest of Hannibal team. We ready for this?
Activate. Starts up takes the safeties off the laser rifle. You're damn right. Let's go save that commander.
All right. That what that does is it increases your burnout by 1 for the next conflict.
So,
So that
as
means
you
as we take stress, you'll be less stressed than usual, or maybe able to take more stress than usual as well.
Yeah. As you head to the comm center, going deeper in, with you find yourselves in a large room filled with sensor equipment, map screens, and a sizable computer setup. You do have it. You do see that there's 3 floors: an upper floor / catwalk, a missile observation room, and the comms nest. It's currently defended by 5 ASC personnel, but is under siege by a squad of Terminator bioroids who are attempting to hack the systems. Which means
One more time for the road, boys. It's combat time!
yep. I don't know why it's doing that. So you have a squad and two minor lieutenants. The swarm has battle rifles. One of them has a light support rifle, and one of them has a pistol. But they're all Terminators.
All right. We know who we know who lieutenants are at this point, since we've encountered Terminators in the past. So she is already eyeing them. Simply because, well, taking them out last time is what took out the rest of the Terminators regardless. And he points out to everybody, those guys over there. We've seen their type before. We take them out, the rest go down, right?
Sounds like a strong plan to me. I got your 6.
Understood.
Kate here sets up for long range, and I've got your 10.
All right.
Theo
Since they are dealing with fighting the ASC forces, you guys do have the drop on them, so you guys get to act first.
Oh, cool.
All right.
With that in mind, Monk, the other thing I'm going to do is ambush tactics. I'm going to look at everybody and be like, they don't even see we're here. Let's see how fast we can cut them down. And of course, because we're hidden and they don't know we're here, ambush tactics, and I'm going out there and going after the lieutenants. I'm technically in all of my elements, Monk.
Yeah, so you're going to be rolling with advantage.
All right.
Since you're getting the drop, add 1.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Three successes against a sub-lieutenant, or one of the lieutenants.
Yep.
I would like to point out, we're probably in close range because it's the internal quarters of a ship.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to armor penetration, how much does your weapon have?
At short range, it ignores 2 armor.
In that case, he did.
You got knocked the fuck out!
Also,
Yeah.
before we continue, out of character for a moment, because I have another button I have to hit. Because we have a special day for tomorrow.
All right.
So, honey, this one's for you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. おめでとう。素晴らしい。
Never thought I'd be hitting that button on on K in my lifetime.
Thank you.
But
But
Oh, it's nice knowing you, man.
so first guy goes down, and as my shot is basically a signal to the rest of the team that let's fucking do it. Go, go, go. So everybody else.
All right. So
With
Kay
that
here
said,
is going to shoot next because she's already got a bead. She has switched from long range to her carbine module, and she is going to use smooth method. And
Alright.
she's not aiming for the head per se, but for his ear. Because she's going to make it go in one hole and right out the other.
all right, go ahead.
Do I have any edge or advantage to this?
Just edge.
Alright. Rolling. 2 successes.
All right. Do you have armor penetration?
Let's see. Carbine module.
You're on the laser, right?
Yes. Or the.
Uh,
Yeah, the LAR 10.
yeah. So let's see here. Carbine module says that if you expend 2 shots, you can ignore 1 point of armor.
I'm gonna expend 2 shots.
All right.
Bang bang.
So you certainly dinged, and he's gonna be distracted, so he's acting last, but it's not a kill shot.
Damn. I was hoping that would have that one shot would have dinged and the other would have ripped right through.
Well, certainly got rid of his armor. At least a little bit.
Yeah,
All right.
it's just you banged up his armor, but it's not enough to take him out.
Gotcha.
All right. As for myself, I'm better versed at taking out the smaller grunts, so I'm gonna provide some covering fire just in case. And of course, I'm attacking the swarm, so fox amongst the hounds. So that'll definitely give me edge. Would I actually get advantage because of the ambush?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, rolling. 3 successes, baby.
All right, that means the Terminator's swarm is down to 2. So you did, after doing a bit of spray and pray, you did manage to get some of them taken out. So.
And then it's Dirge's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a couple shots at the swarm with my laser pistol, see what I can do.
All right.
Let's see, and then for that, so we'll use smooth method. That's the most appropriate for this. And I don't do shit.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of ding.
Wait, did you roll with edge? Because we had.
Oh,
we were
No,
able to
you
get the
rolled as
drop on.
normal, so mulligan.
Still, no. The dice gods do not want me to hit today, unless I have a mech.
No mercy.
Amen.
Oh man.
So now it's their turn. So first off, there's the swarm. Let's see, 2d6. Because they're under fire and they just lost their commander, they're going to be with disadvantage. So they better hope they get some 6s.
Wow.
Nice.
All right, and now for the lieutenant,
The lieutenant.
which that lieutenant is a minor lieutenant with a. All right. So since he's a minor lieutenant, I'm gonna have him roll 3. 1 success versus armor.
Resistance 1.
All right, so it's just a ding.
I look at him. I'm like, I just polished this. I just buffed out the last dings. Shia is not happy.
And now it's your turn.
Okay, so Shia is not happy. Shia doesn't like Mr. Lieutenant, and Shia wants to be scary. So Shia is going to charge to this fucker. And remember the evisceration tactics last time, everybody? It's
Yep.
time for more evisceration tactics. I've still got my combat knife. So he slings the ion cannon to his back, nice and tidy, and he is going to very unhappily dash to this minor lieutenant, and well, let's just see if he likes being on the receiving end of that's not a knife. This is a knife. 2
Nice.
successes.
Very nice.
So his armor was also already damaged because of Kahir dinging him up. In fact, I don't think his armor would be effective at that point anymore. But yeah, Shia just pounces forward, thrusts the jets just a little, just for that extra edge. The jump jets on his back, plow him forward with the combat knife, 2-foot combat knife, in front of him, hand braced on the bottom of the knife while his dominant hand, he is ambidextrous, his dominant hand is holding the hilt. It's like, this is for my armor! Stabs it. And pins him to the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Drawing the knife out.
Yeah, that's one out. That's one out.
Yep. Now we just have the swarm left.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, I will go ahead and use my scanning sweep to survey the area and then blast accordingly. And of course, since I'm still targeting the swarm, I still get the at least get the edge.
Yep.
Four successes. Goodbye.
Yeah, they have a lot of holes. Jesus, that's a lot of holes.
I mean, Jesus
I
would
switch
accept a
cheesies,
lot of holes.
motherfuckers.
No, Jesus only had 3.
Jesus had 4, and technically all the holes the crown gave him.
Oh, I'm thinking of the fact that there's only 3 nails.
Yeah.
3 nails and a spear.
Oh yeah, keep forgetting the spear.
Regardless, I switched cheesies, motherfuckers.
Technically, it'd be 5 because it was through one nail was through both of his feet.
Yeah.
And then the fact is,
Semantics, moving on.
the fact is that Dave just converted them to a new religion. That's all. They're quite holy, after all.
Indeed.
Does David know how to make a holy bartender?
I understood that reference.
Ah,
But-
yes, that's right.
In the aftermath of dealing with the Terminators, you're informed by the troops that the captain was last seen in the CIC. And upon heading to the Command Information Center, or CIC, you see that it is also a multi-level area. Consoles and command stations on the lower level overlook a shattered monitor screen with a blasted open bulkhead behind it. You do see what looks like the aftermath of a fight between the crew against several Terminators. Uh,
Question: did any of
What-
us check under the helmets?
it's going to be the same result.
I don't think any of us checked under the helmets only because we might have blasted off their heads a little too quickly.
That, and there's
They
still a
had
lot
heads?
of chunky salsa.
Yep.
But if but you're later informed that the captain was last seen in the engineering room.
At this point, she to the rest of the crew, to the rest of Hannibal team, explains on a private comms channel, the way this captain is moving is unorthodox, and also very fast.
That's an understatement. What the hell is this guy doing?
Trying to avoid us by the looks of it.
I don't think it says he's avoiding, but he's avoiding something.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how important he is, I'm under the impression that he might be facing someone important. The sooner we find him, the sooner we might be able to take down an enemy commander.
Mm-hmm.
So, we moved from the CIC towards engineering, obviously.
Yep. Which ends up leading you to the lowest area. But as you get to there, you end up getting to the main reactor, and seeing it, there's a bit of a problem. The main reactor is close to critical if it's not stopped. The engineering crew is trying to stop it as much as they can.
Chia immediately looks over at Dirge.
Who's running all the way over there right now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looks to Dirge. Dirge is dashing. Shia overcomes. Finley, you got this?
I can fix it!
And
that's literally what he's going to be rolling as.
Yeah.
Well, before you roll, my assistance for this roll, Monk, is Rally Cry.
All right.
So we're doing disposition analytical, demeanor fearless, element engineer, I can fix it. So what are we talking here?
Advantage? You're rolling with advantage. You're going to be adding 3. And here's the thing. This is going to be a bit higher than normal because
my Rally Cry doesn't do much because I don't really know how to encourage an engineer.
Yeah.
I just say, you can fix it.
Yep. And it's good that you managed to get that much because you needed 3.
I got 6.
Yes. Because what you'd have to do is go into where the protoculture cells in the reactor are and manually remove them in order to defuse the fuel source. Basically performing a manual shutdown. But if you've seen that scene in Star Trek 2, you know that this involves being very close to radiation. So thank God you're insulated.
Well, yeah, I mean, heck, this suit I have to wear to get into my mech is a hazard suit, basically.
Mm-hmm. Fortunately, you managed to stop the reactor from going haywire for now. I mean, if it could eventually go critical, but it's going to be doing that at a much slower rate because the primary fuel source for the reactor has been removed. But eventually, you guys head down to the lowest section of the ship, where most of the engine block and engineering has been caved in. The whole thing is underground, and the distance and eventually you find yourself in an area where the operational guns of the ship's lower hull are seen firing into the crater below. Meanwhile, active weapons are firing high into the sky, dealing with the assault dropships.
Are there any? Are there any? Are there any enemies that we see in the crater below, or is it just blasting down there mindlessly?
Um, it's mostly ships.
Okay. So it's shooting at ships that have already landed in the crater.
Yeah,
Okay. I just
but
wanted to know why it would be shooting towards the ground.
eventually you do find the captain, and let me show you his appearance. You see down there trying to deal with the engine issues. Ezekiel Salute, who appears to be a gruff and weathered man who's more than seen his fair share of action. He's wearing the same battle armor that you guys wear, but it is very clearly busted to hell. Like burn marks, pieces missing. It it's almost like he's gone from full plate to half plate.
Okay.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that because he's been around longer than I've probably met him a few times.
You've met him once, but since you rarely were stationed in Africa, you didn't get a whole lot of chances to meet him.
She over the ASC comms channel, like the generic comms channels, the one that would essentially be an open hailing frequency for the ASC, says to Captain Saloon, my name is First Lieutenant Jedeg from Hannibal team. We're here to extract you.
And Hannibal, I've never heard of Hannibal, but you're clearly wearing ASC equipment. It's good to see you here. We took heavy losses during the initial attacks, and while the crew is bloodied and battered, we aren't out of the fight yet. But the enemy seems determined to finish us off. Hopefully with your breakthrough, it's only a matter of time before their lines collapse and we can take the fight to them.
The mission parameters we've been given have been to get you and your command staff off planet into low Earth orbit.
He shakes his head and goes, I'm afraid I'm not leaving this wreck without my crew. I won't abandon my ship or my people. We all go or no one goes.
At this point, this is where I'm gonna go ahead and throw contacts everywhere since I have had some.
I'm going to do the same.
Captain. Captain. Sergeant David Carswell, we've met in the past. Listen, you can rest assured, we've already gone out of the way and rescued almost all your crew. We even took care of some issues over in the communications area. Right now, we need to get you guys out of here. We're able to stall the reactor for now, but this thing ain't gonna last forever.
We've only got short-range communication. We need to secure the comm center and make enough repairs to get the comm tower back online, assuming the antenna is still intact. But that's in the rear section. Although, even you can make an attempt with the communication kit if you want to make a roll.
All right, I can do that because I both of us have that.
Actually, I
Three of us
double
have
checked. I don't. I have an infiltration kit.
That's right. I've got the communications kit. So what
And so
what
do
am I
I.
rolling here? What am I rolling?
Which skill do you think would be appropriate for doing this sort of long range comm?
Probably contacts everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, roll it. Good.
I would also like to assist since I have another comms kit. We can combine the two for a stronger signal.
And
All
I
right.
would also like to assist because I have hidden contacts as a talent.
Hidden contacts
Oh.
would not be applicable here.
All right.
No,
Well, I
but
do
Dirge
have.
might be able to help because he could help jerry rig something with what we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
let's give it a shot.
in lieu of having three of you roll at once, I'm just going to have David roll with advantage and add 3 dice.
That'll be good enough. All right, let's
Well,
do it.
you need to get 4 hits.
All right. I pray thee, dice gods.
I said add 3 dice. I said add 3 dice.
Oh, did I?
Monkey
Goddamn.
already got the 4 successes.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you that one though.
Stupid dice roller keeps forgetting to update when I forget to click off of it, so it'll update it.
Hmm. But after a bit of jury rigging and turning your communications kit into a contraption that looks dangerous to most folk, because whenever Dirge decides to jury rig something, it'll work, but
Maybe it might
whether
be a
it'll
little
work safe.
dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Not that bad. It won't explode often.
Yeah, but once the but not you do manage to get in contact with Carthage, and you're told to try and set up a landing zone area. We'll send in a drop ship.
All right. What would be the best spot for that?
Probably the debris zone that you guys first arrived in.
I look over at the captain. All right, Captain. We've got you guys a way out. Let's gather everyone who's able to get going, and let's get you guys out of here.
But it does take a bit of time to get as many people as possible evacuated. David is going to get the following drama. So replace this drama with one of the 3 that you have. But
Okay, then.
as you try and get out, the thing about that evacuation is it also means the covering fire that they've been doing for a while ends up falling back, which unfortunately means another wave is coming.
Of course, we're back in our mechs now.
Yeah.
Did we have a chance to do an emergency resupply with whatever was left on the apogee?
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
So the stuff that got used, you were able to recover enough. So let me put it in there. So I got one of those. Another one. So you've got a wave of 5 stealth bioroids who launch an ambush against you guys. So for the final time this week, what time is it?
I believe, my friend, it is combat time!
This one, because of the fact that it's an ambush, technically speaking, they are going to be taking the first action. And let's see, for that, let me load up my lieutenant. I remembered that I made a set of lieutenant files. So let's start with the officer. So he's going to roll 4 as standard. 1 success versus armor or resist.
I mean, Dirge has a resist, so
So that's a ding. And then the second one's going to try. That is also a ding. And one more. That's 2 successes. So who's taking the damage?
Um,
And because this is an ambush round, we can't take any action.
You can take reactions.
all right, can I react with escape artist?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna do that. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to aim my weapon right at the camera, so that way they can't see anything. So, Dirty Fighter.
You're only going to be able to defend, not defend
Alright.
and attack.
Damn. Alright, so escape artist it is. Normal. Rolling now. 0 success. Shit.
Hold on. Are you acting within your disposition or your demeanor?
Calm and solemn are my disposition and demeanor. I mean, I could be calm as I'm flying back to dodge shots.
Okay. You can in this case, if you are acting within your nature, whether it's your disposition or your demeanor, you can choose to use your disposition or demeanor to enact a reroll.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Roll again.
3 successes.
All right. And that's going to be it. That's going to be it for their round. So now it's your guys' turn.
All right, well, since I've got everybody around me, I'm going to go ahead and lay down some covering fire, covering your buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, I'm not going to get anything because I don't have, there's no swarm here this time.
Nope, just a bunch of lieutenants.
4 successes, baby!
All right, which one's being targeted?
I'll take the middle one.
And he's dead.
They're all lieutenants.
You got
right?
knocked the fuck out!
Yeah.
Huh?
That's unfortunate for them, Monk.
Uh-oh, headhunter.
Yep.
And exemplar. Anytime I do something like in battle that is not just commanding you guys, that's basically exemplar. That's the reason I took it. So Shia, turning around in his Logan, sees that these guys are probably in pretty close, aren't they, since they're stealthers? Are we close range or are we mid range?
Close range.
Okay. That's gonna be fun. Shia turns around, sees that that they're right there in front of him. Like right there in front of him. And he decides that he's gonna use his nose-mounted plasma cannons. This is going to ignore 2 points of armor and inflicts mecha damage. And he's going to he's going to actually move even closer using flash move to try and grab one of these guys and then pour into them with the plasma guns.
Oh god, going point blank on their ass.
Yeah.
Point blank with the equivalent of a Spartan laser.
Oh, goodbye.
Okay. Which one were you targeting? 4 successes, so he's at.
And it ignores 2 armor, so I mean, like, whether
You got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, it's -2.
Yep. So she just runs forward. The indexing fingers grab onto the Bioroid's shoulders, and the 2 pintle-mounted plasma cannons start glowing ominously before it's. And he's holding 2 halves of the Bioroid as the torso's kind of just melted in half.
Did you just pull a Volteca?
Maybe.
Don't do the line. I don't want you to break your mic again.
Hold on. I'll mute my mic and just do it to myself.
But let's see. So that's.
I literally just did that.
Yeah. So the only one left is Dirge.
Oh, wait, no, I mean, huh?
No, I don't.
I didn't attack.
Kahir hasn't got.
exactly.
Kahir did a response during the ambush round, but she hasn't attacked this round.
My bad.
Yeah, I was waiting for Kay to go.
All right. So, Kathir, what do you have planned?
All right. So, let's see. We are amongst a bunch of cover, correct?
Because we're back out in the landing zone.
All right. I am going to use Fade to Black to have my Sylphid disappear behind some of the metal, but I'm going to try to exit out at a point that they're not expecting, so that way I can get a quick shot off.
Mm-hmm.
Good old misdirection.
In fact, shit, I would be using 10. Damn it, I can't use 2 skills at once, can I?
Not in this instance.
Damn. Because this really could have worked with me using Fade to Black and then bum rushing and going close quarters. Damn it. Alrighty. That's what I'm going to do then. Alright, I'm rolling that as normal, or would that fall under Dirty Fighter?
I'm putting this under Dirty Fighter.
So I'm rolling with Edge. Got it. 4 successes!
Ouch.
And I am targeting this motherfucker.
All right. Do you have any armor penetration?
Let me double check
No,
my
but
Sylphid
for-
real quick.
I mean, if she does, it's still kind of unnecessary. 4 successes has been enough to vaporize these motherfuckers each time. I just
All right.
also happened to be using plasma.
The third time.
You got knocked the fuck out.
The Sylphid has...
I mean, when I'm in Guardian mode... Oh, never mind.
Even in Guardian mode, you don't have a penetrating weapon.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says P1 or P2.
But while I'm doing my little bit of misdirection, I surge up on the one that I attacked, and use my gun pod to just bang, bang, bang right through the cockpit area.
All right. And after that, so that leaves only Dirge left.
Yep, and I'm looking at taking on the one on the right. And let's see, probably use the big gun, since I know it has the most penetration. And let's see. Let's heavy encryption towards it and attack.
All right.
Oh, poop.
Reroll with edge. You should have gotten edge for that.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go.
Seems the didn't you say the other day that 4 would be a very inauspicious number? Zan?
4 is a
Apparently.
very inauspicious number. Just not for us.
That's why it's my lucky number.
It's all for the golf. It's also the golfer's favorite number.
What?
Get here!
But that leaves just 1, and he's going to attempt to target Xia with his gun pod.
He don't really like me, does he?
I can't imagine why.
1 success.
You can attempt to try and counter if you can beat his successes.
I'm going to. He's pointing at me. There's a bunch of rubble around me. I can move in a short-ranged, unpredictable way into cover. Flash move. Go! One success to 1 success, Monk.
Yeah, it just means he couldn't hit you.
Yeah, that's all I needed.
But it is now your guys' turn, and I get the feeling you're going to be taking point.
As usual, yes. So now I can roll with advantage because he's a lieutenant and I'm being an exemplar. And the first flash move was behind some cover. The second flash move is me jumping over cover on top of him. Three successes with the plasma cannons again, so I'm ignoring 2 armor.
Mm-hmm.
Because that seems to work well the first time, so second verse same as the first.
Yep, which means you're ignoring all his armor, so he is gone.
You got knocked the fuck out!
Again, holding 2 halves of a melted in half bioroid before throwing them on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
She turns back and looks at Dave and everybody else and goes, "What? It works."
Hey, don't look at me. I'm not judging. I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, just an average day in me tearing people apart like I'm a fucking savage.
Yeah. But in the aftermath, the main thing to take away is that the captain is a bit surprised. He expected just some standard pilots, not that.
Of course, we've cleared them out and we've secured the LZ, so obviously the drop ship's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Shia looking down at Captain Saloon. Well, there, Captain. Looks like your people are getting out of the hot zone pretty much scot-free.
After a bit, after an evacuation is done, you end up seeing the spirit of Carthage coming along, and along with a guard force that is here to transport the captain not to where you guys are going, but to Siberia. In the meantime, you guys head out of this area and head to Fort Hope, which is an African Union ASC base that has had a whole lot of refugees and wounded from the battles in the area. It's doing all right, but it's no better than any other place you've been through.
Doing the best we can with what we have.
Mm-hmm. But you do end up seeing that surprisingly they've got some old UEDF mecha.
That is surprising.
I haven't seen those things in ages.
Mm-hmm.
Shia just goes, I remember training on some of those. Pilot school was interesting with those fuckers. He's
I
being a
don't
little
doubt that.
informal because nobody can really hear in the private Hannibal team comms right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I don't doubt that. I know how wieldy his listings are. I'm surprised anyone still uses them.
yeah, but one of the things you do find that they have is a of all things a VFA GH.
What? Seriously?
Yeah,
You might want to
they've
give everybody a picture of that one.
the VFA GH is an alpha fighter. It was intended to be it was the thing that won the contract when it came to the replacement for the Valkyrie series.
Mm-hmm.
And for record's sake,
Like, I technically have a picture of a squad of them from Robotech.
yep,
Yep.
that is it in Battloid mode.
Yep.
Well, that thing looks unwieldy as hell.
I mean, if we're being perfectly honest, the VFA 6 series, which is um is technically like a third generation fighter in Robotech.
Oh.
And the VFA, the specific one that he's referring to, the VFA 6H, sorry, Monk, it is a 6 and not a G.
Mm-hmm. My
Is
bad.
painted in a way and used by officers.
So we got a bit of old school and new school around here. Holy crap! Didn't expect to see a third gen.
Yeah, this isn't as next gen as say the Ajax.
Yeah, that's why as soon as you say third gen, Dirge just looks at you. It's like, no, that's still second gen.
Even though I then go look at Dirge and go, there are plenty of third gens out there. Yours isn't the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, at this point, technically, it is. The other third gens don't come into play until Invid.
Yeah, but like I said, this thing was meant to basically be a strike fighter.
Mm-hmm. The VFA 6H is a very impressive, and in fact, when I was debating limiting myself to just what was on the equipment page for mecha proficiencies, if I hadn't, I would have actually put my proficiency in the Alpha Fighter.
Yeah,
In the BFA 6. I would have been like, BFA 6 in all variants. Yeah.
Well, the 6 also does have one nice capability later on of the stealth, which is really cool.
Yeah, when you get to the VFQ, technically.
but the point is, down the road when it comes to re-equipping, you guys, I will entertain the idea of re-equipping with some UEDF tech.
Some UEDF tech. He says some because of the fact that there's a shit ton of UEDF rear tech fighters.
Mm-hmm. But in the aftermath, apparently some of the battles with your group have made the rounds in newspapers, and because of that, when you guys get to the hangar, you see a row of people you haven't met before who are volunteering for Hannibal team. Um, the first one you see is someone who's in an ASC uniform but is wearing wearing a nun's habit.
None shall have it.
Uh-huh.
But
So she's in A battle nun uniform. Of course, we have a sister of battle. Literally.
Oh,
You did this on purpose, didn't you?
No, she's actually part of the module.
I know.
Strange Machine Games did it on purpose.
blame Jeff.
That's fine. I'm sure Jeff would love to take credit for it.
Yeah. Oh, but she addressed herself as Private Chloe Burns. The second one is somebody who looks who the accent that he has, he's clearly from New Detroit, and that is Private Nat Fairman. The third that you see is somebody who looks a little bit more clean cut, and actually has some insignia from the Civil Defense Unit, and that is Private Adrian Brommel. After that is someone with a very thick Queensland accent. Private Amelia Sheen. And after that is a Mediterranean looking woman who certainly seems to be high up on herself. And some of you know her because she got in trouble a while back for live streaming her combat engagements. And that's Private Lama Yadza. The next one you see is someone who looks a bit haughty and definitely has that attitude. And that is Celine Kalovich. The second to last is an older gentleman who looks to be about David's age, and that is Vlad Popov, who David would actually be surprised in this because Vlad is an NCO. So you think that he would be anywhere but here, but he willingly took a demotion to join Hannibal. And the last one, who apparently joined with them doing the same stunt, is Royce Ridge. It's explained to you by Captain Prana that these are all newcomers to Hannibal team, and they're going to be part of your squadron.
All right. With that, I'm gonna look over at Shia and go, do you mind if I handle this?
I look at Dave and I go, I'm sure we all have our own ideas. Go ahead.
I look over at everybody around me, just eyeing and like, well then, welcome to the Hannibal team. Now, before we get into this, I'm gonna warn you guys about a few things. We're a very unorthodox team. We don't always do things straight by the book, though we always try to stay within the procedures as best as possible. But we're willing to bend the rules a little bit if it helps the mission. And we are one of the most dangerous groups out there. A lot of the missions we'll be facing, you're going to be risking your lives every single time. If you're committed to this, be warned. You are literally putting your life in each other's hands. You're willing to do that? We could be an unstoppable force that could turn the tide of this war in no time at all. But if you're not, I suggest you turn around and walk out that door right now, because you aren't going to survive what we're going to be putting you guys through. What do you say?
I'm gonna have you roll for that.
All right. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and throw it under. I'm going to throw it under valued opinion because I'm sure a lot of these guys will have respected my my experience in all this. All right, normal. Fuck.
I'd say this is in your element, so re-roll that with edge.
Fair enough. I got one success out of it.
That'll count. So obviously the older people within this group are more than willing to join in. Like I said, even though Vlad and Royce, even though they technically outrank you, they willingly demoted themselves so that they could sneak in. Because technically speaking, both of them would be. What would you say?
NCO is
Xan?
an NCO is any officer rank that isn't yet actually in the officer ranks. It's
So
NCOs are things like staff sergeants. They're the
so they'd
very
be like
high
staff
enlisted
sergeants, master sergeants.
ones.
I'd say they both be staff sergeants.
Mhm.
The rest
the
are
only one here who would outrank them normally is me because I'm an actual commissioned officer.
yeah. But they're certain, but they don't look as young as say a private would. I'd say most of them are ranging between private first class and specialists, which does mean the return of the E4 Mafia, which doesn't exist.
There's no such thing as the E4 Mafia monk. Stop
Yep.
mentioning it.
For legal reasons, we have to say that it doesn't exist.
But after Dave introduces himself, what's their response?
They end up giving a salute.
Okay. At that point, Shia takes the actual Gusoku armor helmet off of himself since we're in a safe, ostensibly safe zone.
Mm-hmm.
His long run hair cascades out, and of course the very prominent demonic lion mask on his face goes.
You do hear Chloe go, "Could you take off the mask? It makes you look like a demon."
Shia looks over at Chloe, and I'm like, if you saw what was underneath, I'd look worse than a demon, honey. And then he looks to everybody. He looks to everybody and he goes, "My name is First Lieutenant Shia Jering, call sign Leovan. I am the Lionhearted. In the Hannibal team, every one of you will be valued. Every one of you will have a chance to prove your worth, and every one of you will have a chance to forward Earth's lifespan. As Dave so succinctly put it, our lives are on the line so that Earth can be free again. But I also expect not just obedience, but assistance. No man is an island. Not all of us have perfect plans. And I'm more than willing to listen to anyone who has a good idea. Just ask Dirge." Points over at Dirge for a second. "He may be a little harebrained and cockamamie in the way he executes things, but damn do his plans work." Mostly referring to the communication suite earlier.
Dave just nods his head in acknowledgement, and yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't hesitate to speak up if you have an idea you think will work. Because, as I'm sure, looking over at Vlad and Royce, you guys know, if it's stupid, but it works, it isn't stupid.
But
any questions? That's she is just trying to get to know the newbies, basically.
Mm-hmm. But after the group is dismissed, as David heads back to the cabin, he does hear what sounds like music, like somebody's singing, even if it's in a language he can't understand. But it sounds like whoever's singing is very good at it. And as you open the door, you see the diva um, with a guitar singing some sort of music that you don't understand, but he's using what looks like someone's guitar.
I decide to just quietly enter the room and just let them finish.
Mhm. He does eventually finish, and then he looks at you.
Very nice. Good voice you got there.
I was built for that. I hear a lot of people study this thing. He's referring to the guitar for years in order to get better at it. But I was born with my talents.
Well, regardless of how you gained those talents, what matters is that you have them. Though, and I make sure the door is closed because don't want else to hear this. I'm guessing this has something to do with that.
I needed a way to calm myself down after what I told you guys.
That's understandable. This is a stressful situation for you. You've got secrets to hide, and you've got people out to get you. I would need to relax myself in a situation like that. But what matters is right now is you're safe. And you can see, all of us got back safe and sound. We're right back here. But just be careful. You never know who's listening in, and like I said before, this isn't the first time we've encountered music as being used as a weapon. Have you heard about our war with the Zentradi in ages past?
I did hear about the war with the slaves.
Slaves?
Yeah, these Entradi are have always been an advanced slave unit. I thought you knew that.
Would I have known that?
No,
This is news. No, we just thought they were another species that tried to invade us. Well, this changes things. Listen, without since we can't reveal your secret there, I feel it might be smart for us to mention that status of the Zentradi because that is a long history with us. Would you be okay with me sharing that with our captain?
with the captain and the captain exclusively.
That's totally fair.
On, but make sure that she knows no one else is to hear it, and
Rest.
I don't want the captain or anyone else poking and prodding me.
I will make sure that's a condition of me even revealing that information before I even say a word. Rest assured, I don't like that idea either. I've seen what happens when people get poked and prodded and it doesn't end well. You have my word on that. But for now, you relax and be careful. And that's the reason I bring up the singing is because if people hear you singing that good, they might get suspicious. If you're alone, and make sure that you are, feel free to relax yourself, but be very careful.
I will do that.
I'll be right back. And immediately I go off to make sure that Captain Prana's alone.
And you do manage to find her in the um you looked for her in the bridge, but she wasn't there. And when you asked, you were told that she was in her quarters.
All right, so I go up to her quarters and basically I knock on the door.
You hear her say, "Come in."
And I open the door and enter inside. Captain, do you have some time? I need to speak with you alone.
Really quick, out of character, make remind the captain to turn off any and all recording devices.
Thank you.
Go. You wish to speak. You wish to speak freely. Go ahead.
Before I begin, I need to make sure that the things I might be willing to bring up are kept entirely between you and me. No one else is listening in. No recording devices. Trust me, this is urgent.
This cabin is soundproofed. You're fine.
Just making sure, Captain. No offense meant. Also, I've gained some intel regarding. I've gotten some intel from the diva that I wish to share with you. However, I've been sworn to promise only to reveal this information under one condition, and it's a simple one. No matter what happens, the diva is not to be experimented on or tested or anything of that sort. They are to be left alone and only be consulted if absolutely necessary.
Also, the information is to be for her and her alone.
And this information is kept between you and me and no one else. What I'm about to say does not leave this room.
Fine. If you're coming to me like this, then it's certainly not something to be taken lightly.
I promise you it isn't. I was actually quite surprised when I learned myself. But I thank you for your understanding, Captain. Here's what I know. Upon speaking with the diva, I've learned something about our old foes, the Zentradi, that changes everything we know.
Continue.
For the
You do
longest
see
time,
that she's got a bit. She's an eyebrow is a bit raised since she is as much of a survivor of the reign of death as everyone else is.
For the longest time, we've always been led to believe that the Zentradi were a conquering force of invaders set to try to take over our planet. And after everything we've been through, that mindset makes sense. But the divas revealed to me, that is far from the truth. The Zentradi are slaves.
Slaves.
Yes. Based on how they worded it, most likely to the Nihilus.
By extension, the Masters. Well, I suppose them calling themselves the Robotech Masters would make a bit more sense then. But if that is the case, then the way you're saying it sounds like these Entrati were not a invading force; they were just scouts.
That's the feeling I get, Captain.
The fact that the whole planet was nearly ruined by scouts 18 years ago is certainly a terrifying thought to consider. However, even with that, that brings me to one particular question. If they were scouts, are they here to just finish the job? For one, and that's not a question I don't think you'd be able to answer at this time. And two, why would the masters be so gung ho on killing our esteemed guest?
It's hard to say, Captain. Needless to say, there's a reason, and I think that's that reason why the divas made it very clear they do not want to be experimented on. Because whatever secrets they may hold might come back to bite us.
There's been some attempts at doing research on the Master's tech, especially since every body we capture during engagements all look the same. We don't know what it is, but it's very clear that their expertise is in genetics, cloning. I did overhear the diva asking you what family is, and if the masters are all part of a cloning system, then the concept of family would certainly be alien to them.
That goes without saying.
I am. I have a feeling that there's more that you're not telling me, and I will not prod on the matter. I do apologize for poking at a raw nerve during our first debriefing. That was out of line.
This is a tense situation, Captain. I understand your need to be stern, especially dealing with a very unorthodox team such as the Hannibal team. But I appreciate the sentiment. And you can be rest assured that while we may play outside the box, we do it with all the best intentions. And we will never stray so far as to risk the safety of the Earth for some stupid games.
That is very good. You should get some rest. In addition to the whole thing with the new recruits, which I will be relying on you on on some of their training. We're going to be in for another long haul because we're heading to Australia.
Well, thankfully, it looks like we've got some people familiar with the territory, and we've got a couple of veterans that I know very well. I think it won't take long for them to get in line. We'll just have to deal with a couple of oddballs in the mix. But rest assured, I know how to deal with the oddballs.
I'd say this ship is full of oddballs.
You're not wrong, Captain.
Dismissed.
And I salute her on my way out.
And as the Spirit of Carthage gets ready to take off and head all the way to Australia, we're not going to cover it here, but there is the question of, okay, who's going to be doing the role of gunnery sergeant?
I will leave that to Dave. But
Yeah.
there is one last thing, Monk. One last thing. Shia in his cabin once again pulls out the picture of himself and the lovely lady next to him and looks at it for quite a moment before putting it back in his pocket, reaching under his uniform and pulling out a small notebook that is essentially held in a secret flesh-colored tape pocket on his body.
Yep.
In the book, everything is written in Gaelic, and not just in Gaelic, but a cipher in Gaelic, and shorthand and code words, all at once.
So about 4 layers of encryption.
4 layers of encryption, plus the fact that nobody knows he has it because it's on his body at all times. He writes in the book, crossing out some phrases here and there, writing in new ones elsewhere, and muttering to himself, again in Gaelic. And you know what? Just to denote that Shia is muttering in Gaelic, this was the only time I will use a Scottish accent. All this time, all these people, this isn't something that's going to connect easily. But finally, the lines are starting to make sense. One day, Eddie, we will see each other again. Not a promise. Before finishing his writing, closing the book, putting it back in the flesh-colored pocket like nothing happened.
But as the ship takes off, that is where we're going to wrap it up for this particular episode.
I was kind of hoping to get to talk to Dirge.
Oh. What did you have? We got a few, so what did you have in mind?
I was just going to see if he could help me with a little bit of an engineering problem.
I think that is something we will save for a surprise next time. But with that said, we will be back. I would say we'd be back here next week for more of Robotech, but next week is the 31st, and since that is the last week of August, that means certain traditions have to be put into place.
It's One Shot Week.
So next week we will be doing a game that I've covered at least twice on my channel, 6083, a military SF game that is, as of us doing this, free. The full rules are available for free, and as I said in my review of it, you cannot argue with free. Beyond that, next week is going to be pretty busy because we've got Geek Watch, where we're going to be doing one reconstruction I've been holding off on until the right moment, and the moment has come, so it's time for me to fulfill that. There will also be one other interview I'm going to be doing, and Monday I will be doing the last video game stream of my current format, covering the FF16 demo, and Tuesday will be a celebration of 10 years of the Temple, as well as, well, the worst kept secret, and that is my VTuber debut.
He's becoming an anime girl, everybody.
Fuck
He will
off.
be your waifu.
I've already got one person going full thirst on me. I don't need more than that.
Oh, you'll have more.
Too late.
Don't
You've
worry.
already started the flood.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't. They're. It's more fun than these people are more fun than fighting the flood. What are you talking about?
But
Different flood.
with that said, we will see you here. We will see you here for this next week. But until then, on behalf of the brothers, good, present, and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk, and fuck Harmony Gold.
Fuck Harmony Gold.
In the rear.